All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below so that you can follow along. Today we're going to be walking through practicing using projects. This comes from Section 1, Lesson 5 of the Fast and Easy QuickBooks Online Advanced Level Certification course. You can find out more about that here. And if you would like access to tons more exercises for absolutely free, we'd love to have you join our community, Facebook community, QBO Gym Locker Room. The link is there as well. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. As usual, we're going to start in the sample company. If you don't know how to get your free QBOA, that's QuickBooks Online Accountant account, if you don't know how to access the sample company, then of course all the links for that are below as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and read our scenario. Note that this scenario consists of 4 parts, and you want to make sure and do all 4 parts in the same samples company session. Okay, so part 1, Sushi by Katsuki has asked your client Craig to install a Japanese fountain at the entrance to their restaurant. Craig will be charging them $1,690 for 1 rock fountain, 1 pump, $150 of garden lighting, 6 hours of custom design, and 2 full days of installation. Craig would like to make sure that his profit margin stays above 30% for this. Use projects to set up and track this for him. All right, so step 1. First, we need to make sure the projects feature is turned on. Sometimes it's already on in the sample company. These first few steps assume that it is not on. So we're going to click the gear icon and select Account and Settings. Okay, so we're going to go in our sample company, click the gear icon, select Account and Settings. Okay, going back to our exercise, step 2, then we're going to click Advanced, and then in the project click the Project section to make it editable. Okay, so right here, we're going to go to Advanced, and then here is the Projects section. So you notice when I move my highlighter, these are all divided into sections, and so this section, Projects, we're going to click that just to kind of make it editable. And we're going to turn this on. So in this current version of the sample company I'm in, it wasn't on already. So we're going to click that, and then we're going to click Save. You want to make sure, sometimes it has to kind of refresh as you can see what it's doing to make sure that it turns on all of the things it needs to turn on. And then once it comes back to you, then we're going to click Done. All right, going back to our exercise, step 3. Click the slider to turn it on. That's what we just did. Click Save and then Done. All right, we're now ready to begin our project. From the left navigation bar, we're going to select Projects and then click Start a Project. Okay, so now that we've turned it on, we have this in the left navigation bar. And we're going to click Start a Project. Okay, going back to our exercise. Step 5, for project name, enter Japanese fountain, and for customer, select Sushi by Katsuki. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to give the project name Japanese fountain. The customer that we're doing this for is Sushi by Katsuki. Okay. And then we're going to leave the remaining fields as is and then click Save. Okay, so we're just going to leave this and then we're going to click Save. All right, step 6. Note that you will likely need to close the informational pop-ups in the sample company before proceeding with the next step. In step 6, we're going to click the Add to Project button and select Invoice. Okay, so here's all those pop-ups you've got to close. Okay, and we're going to click Add to Project right here and select Invoice. Okay, and then step 7 and 8, we're going to create the invoice as described in the scenario. There's going to be 1 rock fountain, 1 pump, $150 of garden lighting. Let's go ahead and add that much. So we've got a rock fountain. We've got a pump. Oops. Lighting, garden lighting, $150. All right, what else? We've got 6 hours of custom design plus 16 hours of installation, okay? All right. So we've got our design. I forgot how much that was. 6 hours of custom design. And then we have our installation. And that's 16. All right, that was the correct total. You notice a few things about this invoice, okay? So the rock fountain and pump, those prices already came across from the products and services list. But garden lighting, I had to put the amount in there. For custom lighting and the design or the installation, the rate came across, that's from the products and services, and I just changed the quantity, okay? All right, let's see what we're gonna do next. Now we're gonna click Save and Close. So I'm gonna click this little arrow and hit Save and Close. And of course, if this were a real life scenario and we were really sending out an invoice, we would click Save and Send, but we can't do that in the sample company. All right, so let's go back to our exercise and then we're gonna take a look at the project. Note that QBO has automatically begun tracking the income associated with this project. This is because the accounting method has been set to accrual in accountant settings. If the client had this set to cash, you would not see the income until the invoice was paid. The same is true with the bill we'll see later in this exercise. Also note that QBO automatically tracks the cost of the fountain and pump. This is because they are inventory products and were already in stock. The cost of the garden lighting has not yet been included because it hasn't yet been purchased. We'll do that in the next section. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. Okay, so here we have this is the income coming from the project that we just set up. The cost of goods sold, that's the fountain and the pump that I just mentioned. Here is the sales of product income and the design income. Okay, so these are only showing because this account is accrual. All right, was there anything else? Let's see. They're already in stock, set to accrual. Okay, I think we're good to go. All right, so let's go on to part 2. So here's the scenario for part 2. Craig had the rock fountain and pump in stock. We already talked about that. But he had to go buy the lighting. He picked up the items for $152.10 from a new vendor called Crystal Lighting Supply. Create an expense for this transaction. Okay, so step 1, we're going to click the plus new button and select expense. Plus new, then expense. Okay, step 2, in the payee field, type Crystal Lighting Supply, then click at plus add new Crystal Lighting Supply, because it's a new vendor. Crystal Lighting Supply, add new, because it's a new vendor. Okay, then step 3, all we have to do, we're not collecting any more information about this, so all we have to do is click Save. Okay, so I'm going to click Save. Okay, steps 4 through 6. In the category field, enter fountain and garden lighting. Note that there are 2 similarly named accounts in the chart of accounts. Fountain garden lighting, which is a sub-account of job expenses, job and materials, and fountains with an S, and garden lighting, which is a sub-account of landscaping services job materials. We're going to select the first one, okay? So I'm going to type in here lighting. And notice there's two, so we're going to use the first one, okay? In the amount field, we're going to enter $152.10, and in the customer project field, we're going to enter Japanese fountain. Okay, so amount, $152.10, and we're going to say Japanese fountain. Right here is the project that we're working on. Okay, and then we're just going to click Save and Close. Okay, Save and Close. All right, now let's move on to part 2. Because you indicated on the crystal lighting supply expense that the purchase was for the fountain project, QBO has added the cost to the project. You can click the arrows to get more specific details. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So now here is the updated project. We're still in Japanese fountain. Here is the updated project. Here is the crystal lighting supply that we just created. Okay, I can drill down. Here's the fountain lighting. And if I select this, if I click on that, it'll actually open up the transaction list so we could actually see the details if we wanted to. Okay, so let's go back to our exercise here. Okay, so scenario part 3. Craig's employee, Emily Platt, did the design work for the project, but it only took her 5.75 hours. Craig is charging Sushi by Katsuki a flat fee, not for her time, but he wants to account for his employee expenses on the project. In total, Emily costs Craig $25 an hour. Use a single-time activity sheet to track this. Single-time sheet activity to track this. All right, let's go on. Before entering Emily's time, you will need to enter her rate. To do this, you will need to go to the Project Center. The Project Center is where you can see the status of all the projects at once. Okay, so at the top of the screen, we're going to click All Projects, or from the left nav bar, we're going to click Projects. Okay, so here I can click All Projects here to go back, or I can just select it again from the left nav bar. Okay, so here would be listed all of my projects. I only have the one. And you'll notice I'm getting this little message. That's because I don't have the cost rate, the employee hourly rates set up. Okay, let's go back to our exercise. Step 2, note that you will likely need to close the informational pop-ups in the sample company before proceeding with the next step. Okay, we're going to do that, and then we're going to click employee hourly rate. Okay, so right here, that's the pop-up, and we're going to select employee hourly rate. All right, steps 3 through 5. On the Emily Platt row, we're going to click Add. Then we're going to enter Emily's rate of 25. Okay, so I'm going to click Add. I'm going to say 25. Okay. All right, note that this is not how much Emily is paid. Rather, the cost rate is how much Emily costs Craig, which includes not only how much she is paid, but also the taxes and other overhead he has to pay. This is also not the billable rate for Emily, which is what he would charge someone else for her time. We're going to click Save, and then we're going to click Done. So this is kind of tricky. You have to remember to click Save up here, and then click Done down here. Okay. Going back to our exercise, step 6. Next, we will add her time to the project. So we're going to click on the Japanese fountain project. Right here, click on that. Going back to the exercise, step 7. Ooh, scroll that up. All right. Step 7, click Add to Project and select Time. Okay, so now we're inside the Japanese fountain project. We're going to select Add to Project, and we're going to select Time. All right, steps 8 through 10. Note that Emily is already selected. This is because she is alphabetically the first employee. Step 8, We're going to, in the service field, enter design. We're not charging the client for her time, so we're going to leave the billable unchecked. Okay, so we're going to, what did I say? We're going to enter service field design. Got distracted there for a minute. All right, design. And we're going to leave this unchecked. Okay. In the time field, enter 5.75, then click tab. Notice what happens when I click 5.75 and then I click tab, it automatically converts that to hours and minutes. Okay, and that's what I have here. Note that QBO will automatically convert the decimals to hours and minutes. Okay, next we're just going to click save and close. Save and close. All right, now let's take a look at the project. Now that Emily's time has been added to the project, we're going to take a look at that. So right here, you can see the hourly time on the project, and now you can see the expenses are adding up, and as the expenses add up, the profit margin goes down. So let's keep going, okay? One more part in our scenario. Craig's employee, John Johnson, did the installation, which should have taken 2 days. Remember, that's what we put on the invoice. On the second day, however, he ran into some problems with the fountain nozzle. He called his buddy Jeff Hicks to come help. Jeff stopped by with some parts from his hardware store, and on the third day, John finished up after an additional 4 hours. Help John fill out a weekly timesheet to track this, then enter the bill Craig received from Hicks Hardware, which included $150 worth of labor help and $23.50 worth of parts. Okay, so let's go to step 1. Before entering John's time, we'll need to enter his rate. Remember, we did this for Emily. Now we're going to have to do it for John, and we do that in the Projects Center. Okay, so at the top of the screen, click All Projects, or from left navbar, click Projects. Okay, so last time I clicked All Projects up here. This time, let's click Projects right here, and you'll notice that it goes to the same place. Okay, so we're back on this project screen. Here is where we would see the multiple, if we had multiple projects, and I'm going to go again to click Employee Hourly Rate. Okay, let's go back. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Step 2, we're going to click Employee Hourly Rate. Then steps 3 through 5. On the John Johnson row, click Add. John's rate is $40. Again, remember, this is not how much John is paid. It's how much John costs Craig, okay? It's also not his billable rate, okay? So 40, and then we have to click that Save. So we're going to click Add. Then we're going to do 40. Oops, what happened? 40. Then we're going to click Save. And then we're going to click Done. Okay? And then step 6, we're going to click Plus New and select Weekly Timesheet. Now with Emily, we were able to just click, not that one, no. Anyway, in here, we were able to just do a drop down and select time, but you can only do that for a single time activity. For a weekly timesheet, we have to use the Plus New button. Okay, so we click Plus New and do Weekly Timesheet right here. All right, going back to projects. Okay, so that's what we just did. Step 7, we're going to use the drop down to select John Johnson. In the details section, select Japanese Fountain as the project and enter installation in the service field. Okay, so let's do just that much. Here's Emily, but we are doing John. So we're going to do the drop down right here and select John Johnson. For the customer or project, this is where we're going to put in that Japanese fountain. Oh, there it is. Okay. He did the installation. Okay, let's go back to our exercise. All right, so we added the Japanese fountain as the project. We entered the installation in the service field. Okay, now we're going to say 8 hours on Monday, 8 hours on Tuesday, and 4 on Wednesday. Then we're going to click Save and Close. Okay, so we're going to say 8 hours on Monday, 8 hours on Tuesday, and then 4 hours on Wednesday. And we'll go save and close. Okay, step 8. Now we're going to add the bill from Hicks Hardware. Click plus new and select bill. Click plus new, select bill. Then step 9. Note that you will likely need to close the informational pop-ups in the sample company before proceeding with the next step. Let's see, did I get any? Oh, no, not this time. In the vendor field, enter Hicks Hardware. Hicks. Okay. Step 10, complete the category details grid as indicated in the scenario, remembering to indicate Japanese fountain in the customer project for each. So we've got $150 of maintenance and repairs. So here we go, maintenance and repairs. Ooh, there's a bunch of them. Let's do the one with the S. I think that's the one that's the one we're selecting here. It has the S, okay? And then 23, oh, I forgot to put the price in, so that's $150. Okay, so that was Jeff helping him. And then $23.50 of fountain nozzle parts. Let's see what this says. As before, remember to use the fountain and garden lighting account, which is a sub-account of job expenses, job materials, the first one, not the fountains with the S, and garden lighting account, which is a sub-account of landscaping services. You know, some of these exercises, I actually say in them that if this were my client, I would be cleaning up the products and services list, because it's kind of ridiculous that he has all of these similar named products and services, also similar named accounts. So, but it's a sample company. We have to just deal with what we're dealt. Okay, so we're going to do $23 fountain nozzle parts, and we're going to say fountains, the one with the S. What did I say? Fountain nozzle parts. Fountain nozzle parts. And I think I said $23.50. Yes, $23.50 fountain nozzle parts. Okay, and now we're going to click save and close. That matches. We're going to click save and close. All right, so now let's take a look at the profit margin. So did Craig meet his goal of a 30% profit margin? Go back to the Project Center to find out. Okay, so here we are in the Project Center, and you'll see right here that the Japanese fountain, oh, not quite 30%. It's 27.2% profit margin. And you could conclude from that, well, you know, that's because of all the extra expenses when the fountain, we needed a new fountain nozzle, we needed help from Jeff. Maybe if that hadn't happened, maybe if John hadn't had to spend those extra 4 hours, maybe it would have met our goal. Okay, and let me just make sure yep, that's it. All right, that's it for this exercise. Now we're going to talk about converting sub-customers to projects. See you there.